Hello, Dragon Artists! Last week, you chose your favorite photographs from Mr. Scott's exploration of the beautiful Jeju Island, and this week's Draw Jeju series will use those photographs to create our beautiful artwork. For today's drawing of Mount Halla, I'm going to start with my paper in a landscape position, and I'm going to use my pencil to give me a guideline for the railing or the fence that holds the observation deck of the peak of Mount Halla. I'm also going to draw this small balcony. Now from the photo you can tell that the perspective is skewed, or there is a camera filter that is taking a panoramic photo. So today our perspective, or the way that we see Mount Halla, is going to be a little bit different than a normal perspective. So we're going to try to create that fishbowl shape that Mr. Scott captured as he took a panoramic photo. So I've drawn that guideline there, and now I'm going through to draw the fence posts, or the posts on the observation deck. And I'm drawing them throughout as I go through. The next step that and I'm drawing these right now using a black marker, but I encourage you to complete your drawing in pencil first, and then you can go back and add the details later. Now I am following my line and making it somewhat parallel to the top guideline that I created. And this again is going to help me create the perspective that I'm looking for. And now I'm going to draw my fence posts and make sure that those are as vertical as possible. So you want them to be up and down, straight up and down all the way through. And you can see in my picture that's a little bit challenging to do. So taking a few moments to really just practice making sure those are straight up and down. Now I'm going to go back and color these fence posts a little bit later using a black marker, but I want you to feel free to color those any color that you choose. The posts over here are red and brown, which is also a really great color when you're looking at this beautiful sunset photo. Now I am going to draw the top railing part of the fence. Now as I'm drawing this fence, you'll find that it can be a little bit challenging. Now remember, we're going to go in a little bit later to fill this in with black marker, but I used this technique now just so you'd be able to add color if you chose to later. Anytime you need to, pause the video or feel free to fast forward it and go change it as much as you'd like. This is inspired by the drawing submitted by Mr. Scott, but you are able to use and incorporate any of the elements that we have learned about in art class so far. So here I'm about to add, using a thinner line, some of the posts that are added on some of the safety rails. And I'm doing this, I'm going to add a little bit of color onto these later, so these I'm not going to fill in with black. These aren't the structural posts. But again, feel free to change this as much as you would like. So now I'm finishing the observation deck, and you can see it has that skewed look from the perspective. And now I'm about to draw uh, the peaks that I see. And you'll notice that the picture, it looks like there's a fishbowl. Down at the bottom, there's the glacier lake, or the area that has sometimes filled with water. I'm following the skyline to go through here, but you are also free to add anything you'd like to. So I'm using the photograph as inspiration, but if you would like to draw some animals or flowers within the top of Mount Halla, feel free to do that. A lot of the shading is going to come in with the colors that I'm going to use, and I use the same layering techniques that I've used with the crayons in the past. And then I'm also going to add some of the lines for the cliffs. You are able to change this as much as you like. I couldn't really tell with the photograph that was submitted whether there was an ocean in the background, but I decided to draw the ocean in the background, which created a beautiful effect. Now I am adding some lines to encourage the viewer or the person looking at my picture to think that this is a fishbowl, or to make it look as though the cliffs are going down into the shape. So I'm going to add a little bit more shading by thickening some of my lines. And then here are the ripples in the ocean that you see in the background. Change this photograph as much as you like. I really encourage you to add some different objects maybe from your own, to make this picture your own, and add some color at the end. If you have any questions, send me an email and upload your work to Seesaw. I can't wait to see what you're going to create.